Okay, y'all. So today's guest is bringing something that we don't talk about enough. Well, we talk about it, but we talk about it in context of the hot mess express my life is. But, I think we all want more of, and that is love. Now, I'm not talking about the surface level, highlight reel, what you see on social, the edited version. I'm talking about that deep, inside, long-lasting love that has healing involved, honesty, self-awareness, all the things that matter to us most. And LaNise Thrasher is known as the love cheerleader. And when I say known, I don't mean just casually by her besties. I mean, like, it's her brand. She's made it her mission to help people show up better in their relationships. And she serves as a relationship encourager. She's a truth teller. Sometimes you're not going to like what she says, okay? And she's also someone who can help hold up a mirror with both compassion and clarity. Now, through her work, she helps people like us, right? Like, I don't want to say the olds, right? But the accomplished and the elders, okay? We are officially at that place. The ones who ask if the club has chairs, okay? So she helps us with navigating dating, partnership, emotional growth, and all in ways that feel intentional and aligned. So what I appreciate about her is that she also isn't just hyping you up. I have a good friend of mine back in Atlanta who just hired a matchmaker. And I was telling her, I was like, girl, you don't need someone who's just going to tell you you're great every day. You do need someone who's going to call you up, right? Not just call you out. Someone who's going to challenge you to do the internal work so that you can actually attract and experience the kind of love that you say you want. So I just want to let you know, and I hope you've picked this up the whole time we've been chatting, that healthy love is not just luck, right? It's learned, it's practice, it's chosen, and we all deserve it. So I'm really excited that LaNise is here. LaNise, welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes, it's going to be so good. So I've known you for a while now, and what's great is I've had the opportunity to experience all your goodness. I mean, you truly know your stuff to the point where I've trusted you to speak to my community.
Yes.
And they all love you too,
Thank
naturally.
you.
So, LaNise, before we get into all of it, I actually need to know, your job is helping people heal from heartbreak, but you also went through your own divorce.
I did.
Yeah. So what was that moment like when you, as the coach, had to become the student?
That was tough. That was really, really tough. I didn't even know I was just putting on a facade. I had no idea. Like, I thought, I'm doing really well and no one can see through like what's really going on.
During the divorce or right after?
Right. Well, during and after.
Okay.
I thought, I'm just putting on a facade.
Wow, that's so wild because I relate, and I think a lot of women who go through divorce are as well, partly because, especially if you're a woman, odds are during the divorce, you're still called to do other things. We still have to work, we still have to take them kids, we still got to drink our water, like there's all these responsibilities. And I always say one of the worst things about divorce is you can't just do divorce. No. That's a full-time job.
Full-time job.
So you are showing up a little bit masked to other places. And, as someone who has I call myself medium famous, right? Like, some of this like high visibility online. I've had a lot of people I've started talking about my divorce process more that are saying like, wait a second. So was all of it a fraud? Like, was all of it fake? Like, and I was like, no, you just wear the suit you have to wear to survive in the moment you're in. Would you say that was the case for you?
Absolutely. I was putting on like this mask, right? I would wear a mask one day, take it off, put another one on, take it off. And it wasn't a lie, but it was like, I had to keep going.
Yes.
And I didn't have time to just be over here crying every day. Like, life still had to happen. And that's what I had to do.
I think a lot of women relate, where we just have to do what we have to do, especially as Black women. Like, who's coming to save us?
Right.
Who's going to carry us? Who's going to fix it? And so knowing that I'm out here, one of the things I want to really drill down to for our conversation is I'm out here leading a company, writing books, running rooms. This is not uncommon for Africans, Caribbeans, Latin women, Black women, women from down south, the old school. We have 15 and a half jobs and plus the kids, right? So when it comes to love after divorce, I'm going to be really honest. A lot of people are stuck and a lot of people can't even see room. I know right now some people are listening saying, listen, divorce, major breakup, or just the season of life I'm in, ain't no room or space for no type of man to come in here with his mess, right? So what is the specific thing that seems to happen to women when they experience success that feels like it makes us want to close back up a little bit?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
A lot of it is you're trying to figure out, who are you now? Like, you were this for so many things. You were like in this relationship, I was this. At work, I'm this. But now who am I?
the version of us that now has sort of these other marks checked.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, where does this even fit into it? Because I can say, I think you've nailed it for me. When I didn't have a lot of the success points and a relationship was kind of what we're always told to go first, right? Like you get a relationship, you get that partnership, and then you go after things together, right?
Exactly.
Like I definitely knew who I was in pursuing those things. But then in the aftermath, I was like, wait, I did the check mark. I'm not necessarily looking for someone to be like the power couple to go take on this world. I really genuinely just want love.
Right.
It's so valuable to me. What does that even look like to be loved in this version of me?
Right.
And I couldn't see it. So I just said no. Is that what you're seeing a lot with your clients?
I am. A lot of people just don't know who they are. So if you say, oh, I want love, well, who are you? Because if you don't know, then what are you going to attract?
Oop, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about it because that's a little nasty and I feel a little attacked, okay? Because there is this season, right, post-divorce where I feel like there is a vulnerability that's required if you're really going to get what you want. And in that vulnerability discovery of who I am, period, I call it the divorce diet, the divorce season, right? Where all of a sudden a lot of women lose weight, you know, or you see like body modification,
right,
you know, one way or another. Either we cut our hair or we color our hair, or I'm in LA, people be getting new titties. You know what I mean? Like you're in Atlanta, people be coming out with new backsides. You know what I mean? All of a sudden we're like, wait a minute. You going through a divorce, girl? Because you're looking different. And, you know, people called me out on social. They were like, you're looking very fresh. You're looking very light. What's going on? I had the bust down weave. You know, everyone's just like, what's happening? The truth is, first of all of it worked. So, but second, you know, it is, like you said, I guess that discovery. Can you tell me a little bit more, like with your clients? I don't know if there's one that kind of comes to mind specifically, but what is that? What is that? And why do we do it?
We just want to become, like, we want to really know who we are. And we're just figuring it out. So you might say, oh, well, let me show a little bit more skin because I never could. But now I can. And I'm like, okay, I want to figure out who I am. I want to get more comfortable in my own body. Well, because maybe I wasn't comfortable in the relationship. Maybe my family said I have to be a certain way. But now I'm divorced and now I can be who I want to be.
It's so funny because I found, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, I found that a lot of women don't even settle into being who their divorced self was. It almost feels like it's an extreme version of what it is. And I liken it to having raised multiple daughters through the teen phase. All my daughters, I swear, when they hit like 18 to maybe 21, went crazy. Like, and crazy in a like independence, like, I want to wear what I want, crop top, shorts, whatever, just going wild, right?
Right.
And that's fine. You know, like, I mean, in the grand scheme of wild, that's not even that bad. You know what I mean? But it was just more of a, I want to be the extreme. And then settled right on down. Now it's like, oh, style isn't just showing lots of skin. I want compliments, not just for that. I want compliments for the happy medium. Is that what it is? It's sort of like, we're really just testing the waters.
Yeah, we're just, a lot of times I have clients who are just testing the waters. And when we sit in sessions, they'll, you know, talk about outfits like they want to try. And I'm like, do you really want to try that?
So that's some of what you talk about with your clients?
I do. I help them through all of that. I'm like, who do you want to be now? What style do you want right now? Because previously you had this style. Are you comfortable with this style? If so, we'll keep it up. If you're not, then let's try.
Pause. Freeze. Hold on. Okay, this ain't even on my questions. Okay, so when I was going through my divorce, I didn't know you existed. I'm just like, and I said this to you when I met you, I wish I did. I would have paid you unlimited gobs of money to like streamline and make my growth more intentional and help me avoid some pivots. Because there were moments where when I finally started dating, unfortunately, I didn't end up having to date too long before meeting my person. But when I started dating, I mean, I remember I've never said this before, but I'm going to say it just because it's you. I remember having one date with someone that, you know, and maybe I'll write about it. Like, I don't know, on the Substack. I don't know, on the Substack. Maybe I'll write about it. I don't know. Now I feel like I have to because I just made it a thing. I made it a thing. I've made it a thing. I did too much. No, there was someone I was dating who I dated for more consistently over several months. And I found myself in that post-divorce sort of window, being way more connected to this person. And still to this day, I value what that learning experience was. But I wish I'd had someone, because when it was over, y'all would have thought I was mourning it was almost like I was mourning my divorce for the first time in a way where I was like, and I really was like, oh, I'm never going to fall in love again. Because I really thought that this could have been something and it wasn't. And this person had met whatever version of me that I was starting to like, which means there's no version of me that could find another partner. So this is it. I was torn up. And crazily enough, I met Alex, a few months later.
Right.
Didn't know Alex was Alex, but that way. But I was real beat up about it. You actually talk people through.
Yeah.
Like I would have picked up the phone and been like, girl, am I crazy? Like even my girlfriends were like, girl, you're crazy. But like not, what does that look like? Are you like, change your outfit, like get back out, go on a date? What would you have told me if I called you saying I dated him for 3 months? I thought he might have could been the one. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Should I never date again? What would you have said to me?
I would have really sat you down and walked through my
Not
framework.
sat me down. That part right there.
Okay, not right there.
You would have sat me down. Okay, you would have sat me down.
I mean, but I would have. I'd have been like, hey, let's take a minute and pause. Let's like figure out the lessons that we got from this before we jump back out there again. And like, no, you're not crazy. Like you're feeling your feelings, right? But let's also figure out, okay, what did we like about this person? What did we not like about this person? And what do you want in your next person? And we would have walked through all of that from the front to the back, all of it. It would not have left you just hanging.
Wow. And the rationality you're bringing to it, because frankly, I wasn't being rational. You know what I mean? Like it was really, there was a lot of things. And if you follow my Substack, you already know, sex transparently was a big issue in my previous marriage,
right.
And I talked about that. And that was something I was really enjoying with this partner, and this was like the first person in a long time, and I was like, this is great. Nothing's broken, know? And when I look back on it, I was like, girl, not it was, not that's what it was. Like, I mean, obviously other great attributes. I was treated so well, so respected, all of that. But it was very much, a combination of, in a way, like you said, a discovery of a lot more things. So there are a couple of celebrities out there that, because we're not going to talk about our girlfriends. We're going to talk about some celebrities. So, that are, I personally think in that phase, but I think they need you because I don't think they know it. So like an example is Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez right now has been married 4 times. Yeah. She's on her 4th divorce. And I don't even say that as a judgment at all, because I've met some women who have been married 4 times, 10 years each. And each marriage has brought forth 1 child. Each one was legitimate. Yep. No judgment, right? Because some people can't stay married for a year. You know what I mean? So 4 marriages. But after this most recent divorce from Ben Affleck, where we all thought this was it. Yeah. I'm like, genuinely from the outside, we were all like, she's spinning the block. Yeah. But this time it's because it's love, right? Exactly. It was not, apparently. And they got divorced again. But she ended up saying she was going to take a year off from all dating. And she said that she finally feels free and she has not run to another relationship that we know of as the public. Right. I want to ask your take on this because what I am seeing is she's doing a series of shows. She's been trying to launch more. Like I see an uptick in her work, so it's like, I've got shows, I've got concerts, but a lot of these things are not prospering. Yeah. It's granted, for those of you who love Jennifer Lopez as a singer, I'm so sorry. I'm not one of those people. I think she's a great dancer, but her shows are not selling very well. She's really struggling to, I think, step into that part of the identity. And there's been a lot of talk about her. She looks amazing. She can literally wear whatever she wants, whenever she wants. Like, even if she didn't look amazing, like her body is her body. She can do what she wants with it, but she does, and she slays everything she's in. But there's been talk of her being more scantily clad and, more suggestive in her dance moves. Do you think this is all part of her just figuring it out, even though she thinks she's okay?
I think it's a lot of things. I think one, she's still trying to figure it out. She's trying to figure out, who am I, right? Going through 4 divorces is not easy. No matter how you look at it, it's not an easy thing. So I think she's trying to figure herself out, right? But the thing that I would not do if I was her is stay busy.
See, because that's our default setting.
It is.
So why is that? Why do we default to staying busy and why shouldn't we?
We just stay busy because we're like, if I stay busy, everything else will fall into place. And I tell people all the time, no, you're just staying busy to avoid the work. And I need you to do the work. You can't just do 5 things and then you're like, well, I'm staying busy, but you're not doing the work.
I feel attacked.
There's work.
I feel attacked. The work around growing yourself, knowing yourself, all of that. This is fair. So then the other side of it, right? Let's talk about Gayle King. Yeah. I'm happy to talk about it. I've been on her show, you know, all of that. And obviously her best friend wants to be my best friend.
Sure does.
Yes, Oprah's obsessed with me. If you guys don't know, like, it just is what it is. If you're listening to this right now, now's a good time to just go and pick up the phone, add me to your book club, and we'll move it to the past. Okay, we'll move it to the past. We'll put it behind us. But that said, Gayle King, who we love, is 70 years old, and she is known for talking about still wanting her great love story. Like, she is still desiring that. She's still wanting that. And the response from the internet's been twofold. On one side, people are saying, girl, like, yes, you know what I mean? Anything can happen. Like, 70 right now, honestly, acts like 40. I feel like it's not even the same. You know what I mean? So there's that part. But then the other side of it is the internet's like, look, be happy. No man has messed up your stuff. You have accomplished so much. You know what I mean? Like, and what are you doing? Just be happy that you have such a, because she also has an amazing friend network, and she has, but romantic love is a little different, right? So what's your take on something like that? You know, like, is there such a thing as making it to a certain age or a certain point where you need to just be like, I'm good? Because some women listening absolutely feel that.
No, I don't think you should wait. I mean, I don't think
Can you fall in love at 92?
You can. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think if you desire love and that's what you want, there's nothing wrong with being 70, 80, 92. Like, go after that. There's nothing wrong with that. And if she came to me, I would say, you're not too old. And let's get started on this work.
What type of work would you give to someone who has all of the things, still desires that love? And fundamentally, I don't think anything's necessarily wrong with Gayle, but she definitely, I'm sure, has been living a certain way that does not have love in it, you know, so she knows her way. What would you say to someone like her as a starting point?
I would really get grounded on what am I looking for in a partner? Because it could be that you're looking for something that doesn't exist, right?
So for like 40, 50 years, she might have just been looking in the wrong direction.
She could have, right?
So it's that simple. People might be missing their love that easily.
Yeah.
Like,
they could be looking in the wrong place. They could not be open to something that they never would have thought about. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I know someone who said, I don't want to marry someone who has children. And so I was like, okay, if that's not what you want, then okay. And then she met someone with 3 kids, and she fell in love with this person, and she became a bonus mom instantly. And she does not know what her life would be like without these babies.
Wow.
So it could be you're saying, I don't want something, and God is like, no, this is what you need. So I would really sit down with Gayle and say, okay, let's take a step back and let's look at everything and let's see, what are you attracting? What do you really want? Would you be okay with this? Can you be flexible in this?
So you're almost reopening our minds.
Yeah, reopening it to what are the possibilities? Because it might be something you never imagined. Like my friend, she never would have thought this for her life, but now she's like, I can't imagine my life without it.
Wow.
So it's really thinking about it and really getting clear on, well, could this work? Could this not work? And would I be willing to do the work?
Wow. And so that right there, I think, is huge. And I want people to really hear it, because one of the things I get a lot of criticism for online is the fact that I'm in an interracial relationship. And honestly, I'll criticize myself, because Black men are kings. Okay. I love my husband dearly. Okay. I swear he's a good man, Savannah, but it's not necessarily like I would unilaterally recommend for Black women that we seek out interracial relationships. I'm not knocking it, but I do recognize the historic ingrained safety concerns that can exist with dating outside of your race, particularly in this current world, right? Like, there's just a whole list of extra factors that must be considered. And Black women, we may not have the space, energy, or time to deal with those factors.
Yeah.
I fully get it. However, one of the things that I often tell people, because Black women will pull me to the side and be like, sis, what's it actually like though? Do you know what I mean? I get that question a lot. Do people ask you sometimes? Because I know that's often heavy on people's list. I will not date outside my race with Black women for the very valid reasons, you know, that they've confronted, only to find that they've met an Indian man or an Asian man or a Latin man, and that is their person. What do you say to that?
I always say you could be missing your blessing by saying, oh, this person is great, but they're not the race that I'm looking for. And oftentimes they really have to sit with that. Like, are you willing to end this amazing relationship you're in all because of that? And I get it. You want to date somebody who looks like you, has the same lived experience as you.
That you don't have to explain Black Twitter to. You know what I mean? That we can laugh at the same jokes. Like that, like my family fits with your family sometimes. Like, I understand.
Right. But
also knowing that you'd be surprised, you know, I always joke, like, I prayed trust and believe, especially after the first divorce, ladies, Lord have mercy. I prayed. I said, send me Idris Elba. I don't even know why we're doing this. The description is clear. Is there friction in the clouds? I know what I would like.
Exactly.
Like, stop playing with me.
Exactly.
And I definitely thought that my husband was not blonde-haired, blue-eyed Hungarian when we went on my date. When I sat down, I said, I'm about to pack it up. Like, I was ready to go, only because of my experience before. It was just so traumatic. And I mean, I'm glad I sat through that date, because I could not imagine my life if I was there, just like your friend, your other client said. So this being the case, what are some other things that tend to be, I will not do this again, check marks? Because I just want, for the ladies sitting there, like, I know race, especially for Black women, can be a thing, or appearance, like height, I know is a thing. Income. Are there some other ones?
Dealing with someone's family who does not like you.
Oh, I would think that is a deal breaker. I had nightmarish in-laws. My new in-laws are a dreamboat, but nightmarish. I tell people that that's a deal breaker. I'm wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But a lot of people will say, well, maybe, kind of. And I'm like, no, that's a thing. Like,
so that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's so interesting, because I will hear women who will be in a relationship, even if the family, like, literally, like, or they'll have like just a nightmarish mother-in-law or whatever else. But yet they, because the person is 6'4" and, has a home and hits all the other marks, but the family literally outright does not like yours, making your life miserable. So that's one that we need to pay attention to.
We do need to pay attention to that. And that, like, needs to be at the top.
And then what are women saying, like, they will not, like, for instance, I live in LA. One you hear often is, I will not date a guy in the industry. Like, I just will not date anyone who works in the industry. I want, like, a lawyer, a dentist. I want boring whatever, right? Is that something you hear too?
I do. I hear that too. And then I also hear, like, I want somebody that works my same work schedule. So if I work a 9 to 5, I want somebody else that works a 9 to 5.
Wow.
And I tell people, but you could be missing the person that works overnight. That's the perfect person for you, because he's sleeping when you're going to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you all find common ground and you can say, okay, well, we're going to do this together. We're going to do that together. You're fine.
That's all that matters. It really sounds like we all could collectively benefit from just opening up our minds to what we're looking for.
Yes.
Period. And then we'll deal with the other pieces, even though there are some definite, definite, like, it will not work. But for the most part, find the person you're looking for to start with. Okay, great. So I want to know, and this is really important to me, because I dealt with it, and I know a lot of women, they won't say it, but this is part of why they won't get back out there. The minute that women like us get back out there, the criticism starts. And it sounds like she moved too fast, or she moved too slow. You know what I mean? Or the person you're with is not on their level, or what type of person is this person? And I want to know how much of this sort of mindset holds us back from dating, because we've got this internal committee of critics, either with ourselves or we have it externally, that's kind of keeping us from getting out there. We're so worried about what other people will think.
Well, I always tell my clients, you have to stop worrying what other people think. Like, I know it's hard because all of these things are in our head, and we're like,
we want our friends to like our man.
We want our friends to be like, oh, I love this person. But sometimes you can, like, listen to your friends, right? But then sometimes you're like, you're just a hater. Like, you're just a hater.
Well, and also realistically, when you think of your friend groups, how many of them, their husbands, you think are like and this is healthy too.
Yeah.
All of my friends' husbands, I think, are perfectly nice guys and good for them. But, like, each of them has a character that I'm like, this wouldn't work for me, which is good. I do not desire my friends' husbands. Exactly. That is a wonderful thing, a wonderful place to be, But I do also have certain friends' husbands where I'm like, he's like fun or cool or whatever, but that's still her person, like, and so it's just wild that you would then look at those same people and take in their criticism.
Yeah.
When they're the ones who, it's like, look at who they married to, sis. You trying to get one of them?
And sometimes it's like, you don't even know what they're really dealing with, right? Like, you just see, I'm out at brunch and I see these, like, 30 minutes, but you don't know what else is happening.
Yes.
So if you carry all of that in your head, you're like, but I don't know what you're really going through. You didn't tell me the whole story.
That's so true.
You showed me 5 seconds and that's it.
That's
so
so
a lot
true.
of times it's like, you got to be really mindful about who you allow to be in your ear.
That's valid too. Because when you think about, I'll use myself and tell on myself, people from the outside, I had friends who were like, it's so great that your husband just lets you do whatever, lets you travel, lets you start whatever business, lets you take in these 3 kids, like all of this. And little do they know I was dealing with someone who was super lazy and not involved. And that was a pain point, Not only was it a let me do everything, but also there was so much I couldn't do. and so much I had to carry that I didn't want to carry. So, we really shouldn't covet somebody else's situation. So, okay. So you have a framework. I want to put this into context because we've been talking about like how you work with people and what you do. So this framework is called the Pause Challenge, and, when I heard about it, I felt like it was attacky. I didn't feel like, I was like, I know that it's good work because it makes me feel something. So can you kind of walk through this? Because you say that it's radical because a lot of us who are rejecting love are in survival mode. Yeah. Which is really hard to correlate the two because I think survival mode is like kind of connected to money is usually what people think of it as. But most of us are high achievers. A lot of us are doing okay for ourselves. So how could we still be in survival mode if all those things are working in a way that it's helping us reject love? Take us through the challenge.
All right. So the reason why I called it the Pause Challenge is because I'm challenging you to pause. The world is so noisy and we don't take the time to pause. No matter if we're high achieving or not, we just keep go, and we don't take time to pause. So I'm going to walk you through it. The P is pray. The A is acknowledge how you feel. The U is unlearn things that no longer serve you. The S is set boundaries. And the E is embrace who you are becoming.
Ooh, I will say all of these, and y'all, I'll have this below in the show notes just so you can kind of really capture it. But of course, you can go to LaNise's website. She's a love cheerleader. You can get all of her tools and things like that there. But what I will tell you is all of that sounds easier said than done. Especially the part about like embracing yourself, like when we're still trying to figure ourselves out. So can you kind of walk me through how people put this into practice? Should I be taking each one individually and spending time? Should I be looking at it comprehensively? Do I do it over and over again?
Yeah. So it's, I work with my clients and we take it one letter at a time. Literally, we start with P and we break that down. And then we go to A. And if we need to go back to P, we'll go back to P. Like, I'm not going to just leave you and I'm not going to just say, here you go, and don't actually walk you through it. So I'm going to walk you through it and we're going to go as long as it takes. Now, I want to help you through it. And that's the whole point of having me there is because when you have me as like your GPS. If you're on the expressway, your GPS will say, go off, like turn right because there's traffic. Well, think of me as that GPS for you. Right. So instead of you just going down the expressway and hitting all this traffic, you have me to say, nope, I need you to get off to the right. And so I walk them through each letter. And we might do E, embrace who you're becoming, and we'll start that. And then you might say, I need to go back to unlearn. And we'll go back to unlearn for
because when we're embracing who we're becoming, we may unveil something and then say, hey, that's not it. Like one of the things that I keep telling on myself, but it's just I really relate to what you're saying and the way that we discuss it really brings up a lot. But, embrace who you're becoming. I found myself getting dressed and feeling more comfortable in my body, but then also really having to unlearn that there was never, like, I always liked my body, but I had so many rules around what I should wear. And like, I felt old. Like literally when I started dating Alex is a little bit younger than me. Like I'm 42 and he's 36. So it's not like a huge gap, but in my head, I was like, this young man, when we first started, to the point where my friends were like, if you mess this up, girl, we are not doing this with you again. You know what I mean? Because everybody loves him. People meet him and they just love him. And that was something I had to unlearn, which was like, why do I feel like I'm too old or I'm too this or whatever? When he looks at me, he's like, we're peers. Like he doesn't see a difference. But I had learned in my head that, I was this old lady, who just was past a certain season of life and couldn't, whatever. And so I could see the bounce back.
Yeah. And I challenge my clients with that all the time because I even challenge them to look at yourself in the mirror and to get all the beautiful parts about you. And a lot of times my clients are avoiding themselves.
They won't even look.
They won't even look. And then they finally do. And they're like, wow, I didn't know I was this pretty. I'm like, yes, you are beautiful. Wow. But you don't even know that. So I'm always encouraging them and challenging them. That's why I called it what I did, because I want to challenge you on every single thing.
That is really something. Looking at myself in the mirror was something I did when I first got separated. It wasn't immediately for the divorce. I got separated. I'll never forget kind of waking up in Santa Monica after checking into a hotel, just kind of being like, I don't know what I'm doing, but God was like, meet me by the water. I'm here. You know what I mean? Like whatever. And I woke up and I remember looking in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. Like I had extra weight on me. My face just looked tired. Like it was like I finally paused, long enough to really look, as you recommend for your clients. And, I just aged, you know what I mean? I felt like the last time I looked at myself really had been years because any other time I was looking at myself, it was towards a goal. It was, let me hurry up and get ready. Let me fix this thing real quick. It wasn't like, how do I look? How do I feel? And one of the things I did for myself at that point was I went and got some Botox. you know, and not everyone agrees with it.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. But for me, I was like, you know, I would like to look my age and I would like to feel fresher. And that didn't feel like doing too much for me, you know,
Right.
and I don't get a lot of it, you know, or frequently for my own personal preferences. We can do a talk about that
Yes.
another time. But, you know, it was because I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, I'm still pretty. I still have it. I just need to refresh myself. Like I just kind of let myself do whatever, you know, and I can see how your clients are like transformed by that alone.
Yeah, they are. And they're getting so many amazing results by just looking at themselves and saying, wow, I like this. I like me again.
Right.
And they, for so many years.
And meeting yourself again.
Yeah. You're meeting yourself, but you're meeting yourself for the first time in this new season.
Wild. All right, so I got tough ones. These are tough takeaways, guys. This is some homework to get you really chewing. So the first one is, if there was one thing that you could tell people who want to be ready for love again to stop doing right now. So the people listening who are saying, look, I'm not interested in love. I'm not, right? Because I just couldn't get ready for it. What is something they need to stop doing to even see if it's actually a possibility?
That's a good question. Stop ignoring healing. Stop ignoring healing. Because oftentimes we are ignoring it because it hurts.
So they're claiming, I mean, a lot of people will say, I am healed. I just don't ever want to have to share my space with a man again. I don't ever want to deal with a man again. I'm not even interested. I am good. Is that the language of someone who's fully healed?
No. I said that super quick. Oh. But no, because a lot of times it's like, I'm still hurting. A lot of times I'm still hurting.
It's too raw. It's too exposed. We always say speaking from your scars and not your scabs. Sounds like that might be a little bit raw still.
And these scars are not visible. So they are, you know, emotional, maybe financial, verbal. These are still scars. So you're speaking from that place versus a place of healing. When you're speaking from healing, you're like, I would love love. When it finds me, I'll be ready because I've done the work to get ready.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And also what I find with my clients on the business side is that I often tell them, some of them will come to me saying, I just don't know what I want to do in my business. And I just don't know if I can do this or I'm good enough. And I'll say, I can see that they're just burnt out.
Oh, yeah.
They're just tired. And I'll often let them know, look, take 3 days and just sleep because you're not even in a state to even make the business call. If you still want to burn it all down in 3 days, I will help you orchestrate the fire. You know what I mean? Like carefully so it doesn't have too much damage. It sounds like it's similar to that a lot of people are saying they don't even want it, that they're not even interested in love. Our bodies are hardwired for love.
Yeah.
So if we are saying we don't want it, likely there may be something that is unhealed. Go ahead and heal the thing. And if you still don't want it.
If you still don't want it, then that's a different thing.
Right.
But let's focus on you healing first.
Right.
And then you still might say, I just want a cat. Well, you're going to be a good
get
cat
your
lady.
cat. Get your cat. Get your cat. You're going to find out the person who sold you the cat is your new man.
Hello.
So wait and see. So, and then the next one is when a woman comes to you and says that she's ready to date. Like, because some women will say it. You know, I know that I said it. And I remember I said it to my therapist with how could I be ready to date so soon? And one of the things she told me was because your marriage was over in the marriage.
Yes.
Which to me was like, when I say it wasn't like a free pass, but it was freedom in a lot of ways because I felt, you know, and again, on a conversation the other day, but Christianity, just all the guilt with my faith. I was like, I should be like 5 years of suffering. You know, I should be wandering the desert before these seas part. Okay. Like I was like, ain't no way. Right. And literally I was like, how is it possible? Pharaoh just freed me and I'm in the promised land. You know what I mean? Like what just happened? You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and obviously, you know, my therapist was like, no, it was because like there was no intimacy, nothing for years. Right. So obviously the minute you're done, like that relationship was done in your mind. But was I ready to date? No, it took me probably a year before I was even like ready to like say, I'm going to sit across from someone. And even then my first date wasn't really that either, you know? So what would you tell a woman who comes to you and says, well, I'm ready? What's the first thing you would tell them?
I would really walk back through, like, what did you do during your healing journey? Like, what did you do? Because a lot of people have come to me and said, I'm ready to date.
Yep.
And then the more we talk, I'm like, you're really not.
Wow.
You just want the pretty real.
Ooh, tell me more about that. They want the trips, the vacation, the relation. They want something to talk about.
You just want to post your pretty, like, Christmas like pajamas and that's what you want.
Oh, let's talk about that. So you would say social media is influencing people to date sooner than they're ready?
It is.
Like, just because back in the day, I remember people would say, you just want the wedding, not the marriage.
Exactly.
Social media is like a micro version of that now, where people are like, I want the matching pajamas, the trips, the vacation, but I don't really care for the relationship.
Yeah. And not only that, you're just not doing the work to heal. So when you bring two, like if let's say you're healed, well, you're not healed, but the other person is, now what? You're just coming together and it's not going to work.
So if I came to you and said, look, I'm just tired of Christmases alone, that means I'm not ready to date.
I would dig deeper. I'm like, let's talk a little bit more about what does that mean? Like, where did that come from? Did it come from you've seen people in pictures and you're just like, tell me more.
What was the trigger?
Yeah,
right.
How did we get here? So I definitely encourage everyone to always heal, right? Like if you came to me and said, I'm ready to date, well, let's talk about it. And then we would really dig into, okay, so what does that look like for you dating? Right?
Yeah.
Are you open to doing some of the work and dating at the same time? Are you open to even unlearning some things? Are you open to me challenging your thinking on some things? And that's where we would start.
See, and that's good because a lot of people, I think when they hear, just like with me, I'm ready to start my business, what they think they're going to get from me is, here's the first thing you do.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not necessarily just going to instantly agree with you. If you're ready to start your business, let's talk about why do you even want this business? Because sure enough, it could be, and which also like, y'all know I'm a Christian, LaNise is too. Yeah. Like, that's biblical, okay? You go to God and you be like, all right, Lord, I'm ready for it. And he'll be like, are you?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? He's not just planting that Ferrari in your front driveway without a driver's license now. He's going to be like, can you drive that Toyota for 30, 40 years consistently before I give you this car? And so it sounds like that's a little bit of this energy is, hey, you may be ready to date, but what does it mean for you to be ready to receive all the things that come along with it?
Exactly, because it's going to challenge you. When you're dating someone, it's a mirror to who you are.
And you want to be able to keep the relationship. Look, I'm not trying to do this again.
Exactly.
That was a huge part for me was like, I was like, I don't want to have to do this again.
No,
like,
we're not doing it again. So.
Yeah, not at all. Right, exactly. All right, so the last thing. So if I've been sitting, and I say I meaning because I was in this place, and I know some of y'all right now, if I've been sitting in the I'm fine for like 2 years, right? Like I'm fine. I'm too busy. I'm too healed. I'm so healed that I'm extra fine, right? That I just don't want to admit that I'm lonely. What do you want me to know?
That it's okay to say that out loud. It's okay to say I'm lonely out loud. The minute you say it, things shift. The minute you are able to admit where you are, everything shifts. And I will applaud people. I will hug people. I will love on people because I want you to admit it so that we can move forward. That's what I want for everybody.
Just moving forward into the love they deserve.
Yeah, moving forward because you do deserve love.
Oh, so good. So good. Yeah. So I am going to put in the show notes, but just for the moms who are listening, the people who are immediately going to pull up your website, they're going to follow you on social. Where can we find you? All the good things.
You can find me on social media. I'm literally there every day at The Love Cheerleader. And my website is thelovecheerleader.com.
Perfect. Y'all, please understand that I am a proponent of marriage. I love love.
Yes.
And even though my story is crazy, listen, I'm the one who went through it, so you don't have to. Let me go ahead and give you the details so you have your way out and find the love you deserve.